Hello everyone. You thought I wouldn't, but of course I will be getting out a Star Wars Unlimited video before the end of the year. It's been a little bit of a while since I have done one of these. You'll have seen I've been on a pretty nuts side quest, but right now I want to talk about Star Wars. I want to talk about 2025, and I want to deliver my verdict, of course, as the main verdict that you will all be caring about, as to how FFG and Asmodee have done in managing the game's second year. It's a pretty big year, right? Year 3 is, I think, going to be even bigger in terms of how significant it is for the longevity of the game. I think year 3 is really where we need to see FFG step everything up and lock in Star Wars as a long-time game, which is what I would really love to see. As you can see from the little... We got a few things. Let's jump into it. So, this is going to be my report card. This is a bit of a long one, so strap in. I'm going to go as fast as I can, I suppose, but, you know, I have a lot of things to say, and I'm not going to be able to get everything. I encourage you to leave your thoughts, leave your feedback for FFG in the comments down below, because I know they look at this stuff. I know they genuinely read it. So, yeah, absolutely. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you think I've missed the mark as well, if I've forgotten something. If I haven't given something enough due credit, I want to know. And obviously this is my perspective, but I did canvass around communities I'm in and ask people for their feedback. So I've tried to reflect as much as I was able to collate, I should say. But obviously I'm not going to capture everything. Okay, right. 2025 report card. So what is this going to be? I'm basically going to be, for every single section, there's 12 sections we're going to go through. I'll be sort of giving some reflections, some thoughts. I'll do a grading. It's going to be a percentage and a letter grade to cater to both the Americans and the Europeans. I want to talk about improvements and also wishes, hopes, and dreams. So improvements are like, for me, realistic steps that like FFG should take, and wishes, hopes, and dreams are like maybe ones that they're not like the number one priority, or I think they're a bit less likely, but they would be really, really good. So let's get started, and we're going to begin with products, and we're going to be starting with sets and card design, and I'm probably starting with kind of the chunkiest one here, because there's a huge amount to unpack. So I've kind of just summarized the main things that came out this year. So obviously we had 4 sets, we had 3 sets. We did have 4 sets, but we had 3 main sets. We had Jump to Lightspeed, Legends of the Force, and Secrets of Power. Jump to Lightspeed came out in March. Legends of the Force was our Worlds format, and Secrets of Power is our current set. So, quite a lot to kind of run over. Start off, set 4, main mechanics, ships, pilots, tokens in space. These are the big things. This is where we saw the space arena really become a powerful thing. And it sort of existed before, and there were some space heavy decks. But this is where we really saw, like, you know, space decks becoming like a proper thing. We also saw our second leader suspension in Django. We also saw Triple Dark Raid and DJ getting banned. And this was basically right after the initial sectors. And don't worry, I will be coming on to Organized Play later. So this set thoroughly broke the game. And also weirdly set the meta for the rest of the year going forward. I think overall, my opinions on the set, I'm going to sort of give my limited and my construct opinions. So limited, I think the set was fun, but I think it was pretty unbalanced. The games were really, really fast, and honestly, sometimes it didn't really feel like there was a huge amount of skill involved. If your opponent just got a really big ship up and running and you didn't have your exact counter to that, like there was nothing you could really do. I mean, like, that's what it was. I will also say, though, I wasn't playing Limited very seriously at the time, so it might also be that I was just bad. But my experience with Limited format is it was a very good casual Limited format. You can do fun things. Great 2-pack or 3-pack format. Absolutely fantastic 2 or 3-pack format. But I didn't have the best time in the Limited games I did play. In terms of constructed, I think DJ... DJ was a card that had to go from set 3, and I was pretty surprised that FFG let it live, or didn't. I still think that DJ is a baffling card, because I don't understand why the game rules couldn't just be modified to just make it a game rule that you cannot defeat an opponent's resource. That's kind of all that had to happen for DJ to stop being horrifically unbalanced. it still would have been a very powerful card. But yeah, I'm still baffled why a game rule level errata didn't take place, because that's obviously a lot more palatable than a card errata. Doesn't need to be reissued or anything, and people will pick it up. But I guess they had to ban the card. Triple Dark Raid is one of those cards where it was revealed in Twilight, and we were like, okay, this seems strong. We don't really have the ships to support it. And then they printed just a couple of ridiculously powerful ships. So I'm not surprised. Cards like Triple Dark Raid, which are like so generic, are always going to be broken eventually. And so they're cards that I like. I'm not super shocked. And then there's Django. This is the most tier 0 leader the game's ever seen. In set 1, people will argue that Boba was worse. And frankly, people will argue that Boba was worse generally. I think they're wrong. Django was horrific. You could play something else if you wanted to suffer. But realistically, you had to start getting really good at those mirror matches. And just get in the reps on Django because it was the tier 0 deck. I played it in one store showdown, and then I was traveling for the rest of the season, basically for the rest of the season until it got banned, which was a bit of a bummer for me because I put a lot of time into learning Django, but I did crap at the store showdown anyway, so who cares? Yeah, turns out my ability to draw Devastators in the mirror matches were pretty bad, including off Triple Dark Raiding. But anyway, okay, let's now move on. So overall, I think set 4 was like a decent set. It had some really cool mechanics, but I think I'll expand on this a bit more, but I think as a set, there was a lot of issues, right? Like from the way it pushed Premiere to its viability as a limited format, and then even the flagship mechanic of piloting just largely falling very, very flat. Not ideal. Okay, but then we move on to set 5, and I think where set 4 faltered, set 5 is a really, really great set. The Force mechanic is cool, it's interesting. I think it's underpowered. I think there was a real difference between the good cards and the bad cards. And I know this is always true, but like, my God, like the difference was absolutely insane. Hidden, it became a new evergreen keyword, and I think it's a good keyword. I like it. I think it's a solid one. It's not like a build around thing, but it's powerful in the right situations. And this is when we got another ban list back to back, where we saw Force Throw banned. And the fact this didn't happen before Galactics was crazy to me, and the fact that this did happen after Galactics was also crazy, because I felt at that point, why would they bother? But obviously, I'm very, very glad Force Throw is gone. I wish it had been gone sooner, but I'm happy it was dealt with. And now we're in set 6. I guess overall thoughts on set 5, sorry. So the limited format, I think, was largely good, but there was just a bit of a statistical issue with the way, like, having one of your major set mechanics revolve around a particular trait was always going to cause some potential issues in limited, so, like, it is what it is. That's my only real criticism, because I think otherwise the set's a pretty solid limited one. And then we have Secrets of Power. So, very, very fresh. No ban list just yet. I'll talk about the meta and how that changed in just a moment. But in terms of exciting new cards, there's a lot of really cool plots. I think plot is a really exciting mechanic. There's a lot of really cool cards. Disclose seems to be a bit, there's the cards that are good, and then there's everything else. And I think, for plot at least, that's true for all mechanics, but I think for Disclose, it's another one of those real feast or famine situations. And yeah, no bans yet, although Green Hero is basically everywhere. So, earlier I said that Jump to Lightspeed pretty much set the meta for this entire year. And the jungle meta that we are in, it basically has not changed. Now, that is a reductive thing to say, and it's not true. It's not true to say the meta has not changed. But, by and large, if you look at the kind of decks that are doing well, the vast majority of them have not changed, right? So if you were to look at what the top meta decks were following the Django ban in set 4, you're going to rattle off a bunch of ones like Han 1 Green, Sabine ECL. I'm blanking on other ones, but I think Han 2 ECL was becoming a thing. Obviously, the Han 2s became a massive deal with set 5. I'm fully blanking on meta decks. Kira, there we go. Oh my god. Sorry, brain's just non-functional. But if you were to look at the meta of set 4 and compare it to the meta of set 6, there's a huge amount of overlap. And again, the decks are doing different things. There's way more tools in the meta. and I think this set 6 meta is a lot better than the meta has been earlier points this year. But we had a year with 2 out of 3 sets requiring significant ban lists, so I don't know how proud I would be of that achievement. That being said, as stale as the meta feels, I do think part of that is just a consequence of the vast majority. Oh, Quinlan, there's another one. It's just a vast majority of the leaders, like, just being year 1 leaders, and them just being better than anything else. So, is this a... So the question I'm asking myself is this a structural issue in the card design at FFG, or is this just, well, it was the first 3 sets of the game, they were still figuring stuff out, and things are getting better? Looking at year 2, my inclination is it's more likely not a structural issue, and things are going to be fixed, but we will see. So I think that's everything I wanted to discuss on this particular slide. The last thing I want to mention is Battle for Hoth, intro Battle Hoth, I should say. So this is a new intro product, and it's really cool. I think it's got some iconic characters, it's got some potential hidden gem cards, but the ratios are really bad. I do not understand why starter deck products or intro products in all these games are like filled with 1 and 2 copies of cards. Like, guys, can we just just put 3 copies of every card? Like, you don't even, like, it costs so little to just add in a separate pack, like a separate deck that just goes, hey, here are the second and third copies of every single card in here. So once you're done playing the intro game and getting a feel for it, you can now customize your decks. I just don't understand why that's difficult. I have a huge issue with it, but otherwise this was a very cool set. I like the playboard, I like the artwork, I like the theming. I think this is, everyone loves Empire. I think this is a great product by and large. And again, the fact it's in big box stores is a big deal for the game. Okay, so the theme, to talk about some positives, because I think I've been a bit negative so far. The theming is incredible. I mean, this game feels like Star Wars, and I've played a lot of different trading card games, and it tends to be the case that when I get into an IP game, I'll start getting into the IP more. I was nowhere near as much of a Star Wars fan before I started playing Star Wars Limited as I am now. It's got me back into it, and a huge part of that is how fantastic a job the team does at translating like the lore of Star Wars into card effects. I think I really need to say, like, they do an amazing job. I feel like I'm in Star Wars, which is amazing. The art has improved a lot. Like, there's still some goofs, there's still some gaffes, but you compare this to set 1 and set 2, what we're getting in set 6, it's night and day. I'm really happy with where the art has come. The mechanics are all exciting and interesting, and I think on a fundamental level, they are doing cool things mechanically. The issue always seems to be that the power level, by the time it finally gets to us, is just a bit low. But again, is this just an issue with year 1 of the game versus everything else, or is this a structural issue? There are diverse metas with lots of different playstyle options. It's varied throughout the year, and I would say, at the moment we're in a little bit of a mid-range soup sort of meta. There's a lot of aggro decks and there's a lot of control decks, but like a majority of the game is in the mid-range. And I think that's fine. I think that actually is where you kind of get the most ability for like skill expression. So I'm actually quite happy with that. But obviously, I think there are some issues that are all sort of knock-on effects of various bans that have happened. Most importantly, I just want to say the game is fun. That's the big thing. I really want to hammer home. There, like, even in like the worst formats this game has had this year, I have been having a good time. The gameplay itself is engaging. It's a fun game to play. So I just really want to emphasize that. And of course, new formats this year. Twin Suns became its proper thing with set 4, moving us to 80 card decks. Limited has become a competitive format. I love Limited. I think it's amazing. Oh, I didn't even say, sorry. But set 6's limited format is incredible. It's so good. Anyway, and then Trilogy format is really cool. Not much support yet, which obviously kind of sucks. And the fact that they've kind of implemented this ban list for it is also a little bit baffling when the ban list follows Premier, because I don't really understand who the target audience is. I think Trilogy is actually an amazing option for expanded card pools, where the decks are really not going to shift too much from set to set. And so you can kind of create this brick that you take around with you, and that's like your thing, and it's a really different gameplay experience to Twin Suns. And it also, like, it's a variation on the expanded format that I think is going to be really, really popular. So yeah, I don't know. In terms of other things I wanted to say, because I actually can't remember, I'm potentially going to spoil the grade here. No, I didn't. Okay, cool. I couldn't remember how many slides I'd done on this because I was thinking there was a lot more I want to talk about. Okay, so there've been a lot of balance issues, guys. I think we just have to face that. From Boba, I mean, okay, I just there's a lot, right? Like I think Boba, honestly, I think actually didn't need a ban. It was decreasing in play rate. It was nowhere near as dominant in set 2 as it was in set 1, in the sense that there wasn't like one deck that was just running the show. Yes, Boba was a ridiculous proportion of the meta, but like that was a consequence of the leader being generic and them literally just not giving us better options. Like if there was a control design leader, you can rest assured that the control decks would be playing the control design leader, right? Like if it worked with those yellow combinations, but they just didn't exist. It was set to. So, you know, I'm not convinced that Boba needed to go. And definitely the stage we're at now, I don't know. I think the meta that we are experiencing is so far diverged from any internal testing meta because we don't have Django, we don't have Boba, we don't have TDR, we don't have DJ. Like these are huge pieces of a meta that would exist. We don't have Force Throw. Like that's 5 massive cards that we just don't have. So, you know, I'm not surprised that there's still balance issues because everything's been sort of a knock-on effect. I don't really understand FFG's philosophy on suspensions, to be honest, because I think they say it's data driven, but they also I think they're overly cautious, and I think there's a time to be cautious and there's a time to be proactive. So I'll give you my examples here. Boba being banned at the tail end of set 2 before we even got set 3, to me, was a total fumble because they either ban Boba halfway through set 2 when it was very clear it was dominant, or they should give set 3 a month to settle and then ban the leader if it's too strong, right? I think banning it right before set 3 came out, but after it already dominated the format, especially when there was like a pretty reasonable chance that it wouldn't have been as dominant with set 3, you know, who knows? Now, that being said, subsequently, set 3 turned out to be a stinker of a set with almost nothing competitively viable. So Boba probably would have still been completely dominant. So I think the same thing would have happened, but yeah, I don't know. I guguess maybe FFG knew it was a stinker of a set and that things weren't really going to change. So then moving on with the bans in set 4, everyone knew that Django was going to be horrifically broken because Django Red was already a deck and Boba Red was already a deck, and set 4 was just literally supercharging these decks. We knew TDR was broken. We didn't need every single sector to be in the same meta. You could have emergency banned it after the first one, I think. It was clear. That being said, I can't, like, as critical as I am about that, how obvious was it at the time? I think it was pretty obvious. I think it was pretty, like, I'm casting myself back to player brain. It was pretty obvious. In the same way that the Force Throw ban was also very obvious. Like, as players testing for Worlds, like, we knew how horrifically broken Force Throw was. It ran the entire metagame. And the other thing I don't understand was the massive delay. Like, either you just announce a Force Throw ban like the week after Worlds. It was like multiple weeks later. It was just a bit odd. I don't really understand it. Yeah, I don't know. And so it's like, you know, I guess there's a lot that goes into when they decide to ban cards. And I just think sometimes it's like, I wish they were more proactive sometimes and just kind of did it, rather than like waiting as long as they do. But I also wish they were a bit bolder with unsuspensions. Like if they wanted to shake up the format rather than banning, I think they really should be looking to just release some things, right? Like, would Django be Giga broken right now? I'm not convinced he would be. Would Boba be Giga broken right now? I'm really not convinced he would be. Would he be powerful? Absolutely. But the thing is, right, like, these leaders are rotating. And I don't think it would be insane to, like, let people play with them for, like, the last couple tournaments. And if they were super broken, you could just ban them again. Just be like, oh, bad, we shouldn't have let them loose. Go play with them in Expanded, right? Anyway, I don't know. Maybe my philosophy on maybe the issue isn't FFG's philosophy, it's mine. But anyway, moving on. Most legendaries are really bad. This is a serious issue. Like, it's I think it's been sort of spoken about to death by other content creators, so I'm not going to harp on about it too much. But yeah, the best cards in the set, like, not every legendary needs to be broken, and not every best card in the set needs to be a legendary, but there should be like a very solid overlap between those things, right? Like, legendary should a majority of the time be pretty good, and the best card in every set should always be a legendary. Like, let's be real here. Like, you know, the fact that like the best card in set 3 is a rare like Hotshot Blaster, the fact that like the best cards in like I think like set 5 is the only one I can think of where like Anakin is the best card in that set. It's a legendary, but like, you know, the best card in set 6 probably Karis Nemec. That's a rare, right? Like set 4, it would have been Devastator, which was a legendary, but then, you know, banned, so now it's no longer that, and now it's probably like Blue Leader, right? So it's like, okay, that's an uncommon. So, you know, I just think like they can like, they know when the cards are good. Just make them legendary. Like, it's fine. Most leaders are really bad as well, and this is just also so frustrating because it's like, guys, please. Boba would not have been anywhere near as much of an issue, and we wouldn't have the kind of good stuff pile meta that we often see if leaders were just pushed to be a little bit stronger. Like, rather than reversing the creep, giving us more good leaders would have been more exciting. Now, this is a weird one to say because I may have a very different opinion on this once we rotate. Because when I'm no longer thinking about sets 1 to 3 and I'm only looking at the power level of set 4, 5, 6, 7, it might be that all the leaders are really well balanced against each other. That is a long-term decision, which has meant that this year has fucking sucked. I hope that is the case. Because the absolute worst possible thing will be if we get further leader like power leak where they get worse. My god, please no. And if they get a little bit better, that's fine, but if they start getting a lot better, then I wonder what the hell we were doing in year 2, right? Like, what was this, a giant waste of time? Anyway, most of a set will not see competitive play, and like, that's fine, but like the percentage of like cards that are like that could be competitively viable, like there's so many cards where if this is a very slight tweak, like they would actually be very, very viable. And it just kind of goes to like FFG being very cautious on the card design. Like sometimes these cards will come in sets, you're like, how on earth did like this one make it through playtesting if you were so cautious here? And that's what I feel like a lot of the time. I get the feeling there's probably a lot of the devs that like every card that is kind of broken into competitive play, I imagine was very strongly advocated for by a dev who really cared, and no one else in the room cared enough to tone it down. And so it made it through at that slightly elevated power level. Like, genuinely, otherwise I don't know how half these things make it through when you look at the set as a whole. My god, the Glupshitto problem. Listen, I don't think that there should be no powerful Glupshittos. If anything, I love a powerful Glupshitto when it is an exception, right? Like, I think it's endlessly funny when like Jar Jar Binks gets a broken card. Like, the Jar Jar Binks in set 6 is actually crazy. Like a genuinely really powerful card. And if that was like a very rare instance of a Glupshitto character who's like not a reason people watch Star Wars, right? Like, it's not your Luke Skywalker, your Darth Vader, Kylo Ren, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you know, like Anakin, like these iconic characters who you come to Star Wars for, right? I can name so many of them. Jar Jar Binks is not one of them. When occasionally those cards are super broken, I love that. That is hilarious. When it's a majority of the time characters I've never heard of as a relatively knowledgeable Star Wars fan, gang, stop it. Like, for example, why on earth was Quinlan Vos the best leader in set 3? Why was that not Obi-Wan Kenobi? Like, they knew that leader was going to be good. Obi-Wan, that should have been Obi-Wan, right? Like, what are we doing here, right? Anyway, yeah. Why are sets so siloed? This is another problem I have. I just don't understand. Like, there's no continuity at all between sets. And I get it's like a challenge on numerous levels, like lining up multiple sets and the way they do things. But I just think what would be great is if it felt like there was some continuity within a year, right? Like, you know, it felt like set 7 naturally flows into set 8. There's some sort of through line. There's something that makes me feel that these things are connected. And similarly, 8 to 9, there's something that makes these feel connected. And ideally, that will be in just reusing some mechanics. I mean, I don't know, I didn't really write it down as a note here, but like, they don't reuse mechanics, and it wouldn't be that hard for them to just, you know, have a couple of cards peppered through the year, and then you stop using them after that. But it's like, okay, well, we got a whole year of like kind of good cards. Whereas instead we get everything in one set, 90% of it sucks, sees 0 competitive play, and then off it goes. And even even if they just like mix them up between the sets a little bit and just kind of spread things, I think that would be really great, and it's something you can carry forward, right? Like save maybe 3 or 4 of the best smuggle cards, for example, from set 2, give us half of them in, like, give us like 2 or 3 really good ones in set 3, give us like 1 or 2 really great ones in set 4, and then you stop supporting them in set 5. With set 5, right, like maybe give us some more force mechanic stuff in set 6. There was none of it. Why was there nothing that interacted with the force? Like, I get that it won't work in a limited environment, but you cannot use the fact that like limited is there to stop yourself from like creating a better product, I think. Like, I don't think people's immersion is broken because there's a mechanic they can't necessarily interact with in the limited format. Like, that's fine. You know, you can, and if you really have to, like, you know, if you make it modal or something, right? Like, you can, like, I know the force is an awkward one, but you can find ways to make it work. Yeah, anyway. And why is Legacy, quote-unquote, support so rare? Like, it feels like your deck comes in and then, like, basically good luck. And I think, again, part of this is really an issue of we are still in piles of good cards as a game. Archetype decks are still rare, even though we're 2 years in. Like, it's not that common. So I think that is a major issue of why it feels like this. So that's one thing I'd really like to see moving forward is way better archetypes. And yeah, like, we're on set 6, I'm still piles of good cards. And yeah, I sort of talked about rotation. So I've kind of harped on a lot here about the sets and the card design side. But I think, you know, I want to be fair here. Like, I don't think they're doing a bad job. To me, this is like a absolute, like, this is a B. Like, they absolutely could have done way worse. There's a lot of good here, but they could have done a lot better as well. Like, there's a huge amount of room to grow. There's a lot of room to just improve this game and make it like the unquestionable #1 game in the world, right? And I think, like, they know what they need to do it. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what we get in 2026, and especially the way that they've sort of spoken about a lot of things. I suspect we're going to see that. Okay, on to physical products. Man, we are making great time. This will be a little bit faster. So Spotlight decks are an upgrade, but they're still quite expensive. So these are better than the 2-player decks that we were previously having, but they are a little bit spenny. I'd like to see them be closer to £10 to £15. I get they come with a pack, but like, these are an intro product that you need to use to get people in the game. I don't think there should be a big profit center. Main sets have a new boosted pull rate as of this year, and then that's going to happen again next year, and a design for limited. And I like the changes that were made to the main set in terms of those pull rates. But Carbonite has completely destroyed all value in main sets, and I'm not going to go on a whole Carbonite rant here because when I was producing this, they had just announced, like, they hadn't announced the changes yet, and then later, after I wrote this bit, they had. So it had fallen flat. Carbonite does feel bad to open. Legend of the Force, what happened with those, Jump to Lightspeed's prestiges all looked incredible, but then you look at Legend of the Force and like maybe 5 of them look good. And Secret's a lot better, but like that's being hard carried by like the propaganda posters, because the other one is like very fine. And also there's a lot of just naff cards that are chosen to get prestiges. There's the whole serialized fiasco where they duplicated serialized cards. I talked about the Intra-Battle Hoth thing already. And the convention exclusives just sucked. Like, I mean, come on, guys. Like, compared to what we got last year, why wasn't it just Jedi? Like, why wasn't it Luke Skywalker and, like, Rey? And, like come on, you know? Like, it seemed like a no-brainer to me. But, okay, so I've very much counted through there. 45%, this is, like, they know they have to improve this, and they are, because I want to quickly talk about this here. So, we are basically no longer having standard foils. Thank you. They look awful. Hyperspace foils are now way more common. Great. That's fantastic, because if I want to foil my deck, I'm hyperfoiling it. I'm never just foiling it. Hyperspaces are now more common. Fantastic. Non-foil prestiges are now going to start showing up in standard packs, which is cool, but now I'm very concerned about the desire to open Carbonites, because they've also cut the pull rates on showcases, so now they're showing up in half as many Carbonite boxes, essentially. Now, obviously, you're getting way more rares and legendaries, all this sort of stuff, but and obviously, serialized prestiges and prestiges are the big thing you go to Carbonite for. But I think this makes, like, this change, and assuming that normal packs just get good legendaries, actually makes normal packs very, very appealing. And it kind of makes Carbonite look a bit bad. I think they just need to inject some additional value into Carbonites, and I think there's a really easy way to do that, and that is have serialized showcases. Like, just, like, how hard is this? Like, you have your normal showcase version, and then you also just do these ultra limited, like, serialized showcase versions that you also can throw in there. It's just a second, like, gacha chase, and you just take normal showcases out of it. Like, you need to just add in, like, high roll value, and also you need to make sure the prestiges are all going to be good cards of value, right? Like, that's the other thing. Stop putting crap cards in there. Please, dear God. The Carbonite box I opened for secrets made me literally never want to buy Carbonite again, and I don't think I will. I actually think until I see some serious changes, I don't think I'm ever going to buy Carbonite again. Like, until I see a set where all the prestige, like, it would feel okay to open a kind of crappy box, because, like, yeah. Anyway, a bit of a counter through there. But yeah, I think physical product has a lot of room for improvement. There's also a whole load of new ones coming out next year, so we'll see what happens with those. Okay, accessories. Gonna really jump through this one very quickly, but we got a bunch of new accessories with set 4, 5, and 6. Gamegenic, as usual, does all these. My thoughts, the binders, the boxes, and the tokens are all great. It's about time we got some double-sided tokens. The life wheels are a total dud. They literally cover up essential information on the card, and then they tried to play it off like it was a feature, and, like, gang, it wasn't a feature. Like, come on. I don't understand why the playmats aren't stitched. I think that's just a little bit of a miss when they do that for a lot of the prize playmats, so I think that just needs to be the standard moving forward. Just, they should all be stitched. I really like the Hyperspace 4 promos, so I think they need to start adding in more of these cool vanity upgrades into these accessories to just make me want to buy them, because, like, fundamentally, once I get a couple, like, why am I going to keep buying them? So you want to incentivize people to keep on buying these things, right? And yeah, push the envelope more. Yes, the life wheel was a dud, but I'm glad you tried it. And honestly, the life wheel was almost a super big success. It was just one small issue. So I'd love to see a life wheel V2 where it doesn't cover up the base health. And I'd love to see just new and interesting things. There are some banger products I didn't mention here. Like, for example, the Twin Suns playmat is a genuinely unique product across the entire industry. And, you know, getting a playmat that size, of that quality, for that price is unbelievable. I love that thing. I almost never play like 4-player games of, like, Twin Suns, just because I rarely have enough people around my house, but when I do, I love breaking that thing out. If I was a Commander player, I would equally love breaking that thing out for Commander, because it's just the perfect size. It's so affordable for what it is. Like, products like that are such slam dunks that, like, I want to see them keep pushing the envelope, keep trying to do new things, because, like, there is some amazing stuff from there. So B+, you know, nothing super really negative to say. I just, like, there are some things that could be improved, but overall, pretty happy with the accessories. So overall, we're giving a B- to the products. So that's basically an average of the grades. And, you know, like, there's definitely big improvements that can be made. But I wouldn't say, like, the year was more bad than good by any means. Like, overall, definitely positive, but with room to improve. Definitely not a see me after class grade or anything like that. Okay, on to the community. So, just want a brief little word on locals, because I know a lot of us online gremlins don't actually go to locals very often. But hey, they're doing a really good job with locals, I think. Adding a legendary to participation was a really nice touch. This has just gone down really, really well. A 4 in every pack is great. The borders suck. Again, I wrote this before they announced new ones, so this problem is gone as of next year. A lot of the promos are odd choices, and I think this is an area for improvement. I would love to see the promos just get a little bit better. But, you know, they don't need to be high rarity. I don't mean, like, that. I just mean, like, choose the cards that you're just more confident will be playable, right? Like, that's it. Like, more of the uncommons, I guess, with their current design philosophy. I will say it doesn't mean, like, one thing that sucks is a lot of the starter deck cards are much harder to get now. And I kind of liked that the starter deck cards were, the hyperspaces just came in those in packs. So maybe it'd be nice to see the starter deck cards make a return to weekly play. And the packaging was a big downgrade. I don't Like I'm sure there was like cost cutting reasons they downgraded the packaging. It sucks a bit, but like it's not the end of the world. So overall, locals, and also just want to say communities are phenomenal. Every time I go to Star Wars locals, it's the friendliest people. Everyone is super lovely. Everyone is just there to have fun. So like I got to say, like again, played trading card games for like 10, 11 years. One of the best communities I have been a part of. Really, I think that I think I've given this a B plus, but they've already made changes that would elevate this to like an A or an A minus. And really, there's very minor changes needed. Like I think they're doing a really, really great job on the local level. Okay, store showdowns. This is where I am going to glaze the ever-loving shit out of FFG, so please bear with me. My God, they have knocked these out of the park. The promos are some of, if not the best legendaries in every set. Devastator, when Django was legal, was the best legendary in the set. It probably still is the best legendary in the set. There's, it's crazy. Grand Inquisitor, absolutely one of the best legendaries in the set. I understand why it wasn't Anakin or Vader, like, totally fair. Those were Galactics things at the time. And Queen Amidala, oh my God, like, the best legendary in set 6. Chef's Kiss, the artwork is amazing on all of them. Just no notes. The promos are excellent. Best of one is a flexibility that is nice for stores to have. They can serve their local community. They can do what their locals wants to do. The biggest issue is there's not enough of these. That's genuinely the only issue I have. Because these are a casual event, so it would be nice if there were just a few more of them, but like 90%. Like my criticism is there's not enough. That's a pretty good criticism to have. Well done, FFG. Big fan of what you're doing here. And growth. Community's fantastic and the game is growing. We are selling out events constantly. Which it's weird because you will go on Facebook groups and you will see comments like, oh, the game is dying, this, that, and the other. And there are issues. And a lot of these issues are the ones when it came to like product where when you have multiple sets in a row where the legendaries suck and there's no reason to buy boxes, stores are going to start liquidating them and people are going to wonder why the hell are these stores selling product below MSRP. The biggest thing against the game is the fact that it is too affordable, right? Like there are not enough good expensive cards. We need a return to like there needs to be expensive chase cards in every set, in every aspect. Like there needs to be at least one or two legendaries that you just go, oh my God, this is like a staple. This is so strong. This should be a $20, $30, $40, $50 card because like when you have those chases, that gives value to your product. That keeps people going in for draft. That keeps stores like selling the product. That it is good for the ecosystem. Yes, it sucks that your deck becomes a bit more expensive, but I would rather have a slightly more expensive deck and a game that lasts for 10 years than a dirt cheap one and a game that lasts for like only 2 or 3. People like the game. People love the game. Everyone who I teach it to just loves it. So yeah, I'm really, fantastic. The accessibility is great, though obviously I kind of want that to take a hit because it is too accessible at the moment and that's causing an issue for stores. But yeah, bigger locals, sold out tournaments, there's a lot to be excited about. The communities are kind of condensing into like hubs rather than like a bunch of, 4 to 8 man locals. You'll have like 1, 15 to 20 and then the rest kind of die out, which sucks a bit, but that's kind of like, that's natural. But yeah, I mean, overall, I think they're doing a good job. Branching out into big box stores was great. I love what we're going to see coming, right? Where there's going to be Twin Suns decks coming, which is a huge deal. I think that's going to do wonders for growing the game on a casual level. I'm really excited for Icons, like a new mini set. I think like the things that they, tournaments are big, and like as long as they just keep on improving, like they just basically get away from mistakes and they just keep on improving, things are going to be fantastic. So again, another 90%, I think they're doing pretty well there. So overall, community, pretty good. Okay, now let's move on to the second topic that's probably going to be an absolute hench one, and my God, we're already at 40 minutes. Okay, PQs. These promos are worse than the Store Showdown promos. So we'll start there. I think Malik could be good, maybe, and Thrawn is okay. The participation promos I actually think are quite good, but like, yeah, gang. This is not the one. So first of all, it was our first full year of PQs, and it was really fun to see them ramp up in the scale. There are more PQs now than ever, and you don't really get these tiny PQs anymore. Like every PQ is 50, 60 plus players. Limited PQs have been a hit, and I love them. I think they are really, really fun. There is an issue though, and FFG wants these to be one-day events with a top cut, which is fine, especially because with how top-heavy the prizing is weighted to. But I just think once you hit more than 64 players, a one-day event in a best-of-3 sideboardable game, you're just getting too bloated. It's not fair to the stores. It's not fair to the players. You're having them there till like 10, 11 p.m. at night, getting there at like 9, 10 a.m. in the morning. A lot of them will be traveling. It's just, there's no need to limit them to this extent. You can just bulk it out a little bit. For example, on the prizing front, second only getting 35 points is garbage. Why is it not 50? Like, that feels awful. IDs are an issue at small PQs, but there are way less small PQs now, so that's a bit less of a problem. In my view, I'd really like to see more PQs and a cap of 64 players. I think that would just be better. There's no need to limit them so much. I'd also love to see FFG do a little bit more to provide prizing. Just send out some extra seal product, because like, I'll go to some PQs and the prizing's great because the store has ponied up like some extra stuff. I'll go to others where the store has just done nothing, and like I get like, I come second in a PQ and I get like 6 packs, and I'm like, okay, cool, thanks, very cool. I really hope they do expanded format PQs. I'm sure they will, but I'm very excited for them. And I think it would just be nice if there were just a few little extra things for prizing. Like, I think my hot take, right, and I'm going to repeat this at every level. This thing where you get multiple copies of the same prize card is cool and all, but like, actually that really sucks, because I'll tell you for free, putting a champion stamp on my card does not make me want it more, does not make it more valuable. I would love to keep the champion stamped one, but what I would also really like is something exclusive that shows I've won that like other people don't have, right? So if that is just the same card but a different alt art that only you get for the champion, please do that. But like, there needs to be something else. It can't just be all the same promo all the way up with a slightly different stamp, because like, that's really boring. I'd also love just small little things. So like top 8, I think it would be nice if there was some little thing. I don't know what it would be. I think you do an initiative token for top 4. I think it would be nice if the initiative token was for top 8. And then maybe there was something else for top 4 and something else for finalists. Just like really small things like accessories, or just like a nice thing that you kind of get to show how far you made it in the tournament. Maybe just different initiative tokens that say like top 8 on them, or top 4 finalists or whatever. Like, I don't know, something. There's like different tokens or whatever. Like, it would be cool if they were like exclusive bases, maybe, right? Like, if you make it to the top 8, you get an exclusive. You get a cycle of the bases from that set, the common bases and the rare bases. That's like hyperfoil or something. Like, it's the only way to get it, right? Like something like that. Like, these are really easy things to do, very, very low cost, but they go a really long way for making PQs a very desirable thing. Yeah, I think by and large, PQs are pretty good, but there are definitely points for improvement. So give me a 65. By and large, they're good, but definitely can improve. Okay, sectors and regionals. These started looking at what we have now for pricing and looking at what we had before. My God, the pricing has gotten a huge amount better. And this is what I just want to say. Every single, this is just the sectors. Every single set, they have stepped up the pricing. They've made it more exciting. Way more appealing, and I just want to see that continue. And there are lots of ways to do it. I'm going to mention again, I hate this duplicate promo thing. It sucks. Stop doing it, please. By all means, keep this and then give us something else, but like, there needs to be something else, because if I get my champion Qui-Gon, but like 100 people managed to get a Qui-Gon just for making day 2, it really diminishes how special the Qui-Gon is. I would like the Qui-Gon to be more special, please. And again, very happy for that just to be like, just do another alternate art or something, right? Like, I don't think it's a huge expense to do like a different artwork for each tier. And then even if it's the same card, well, the artwork is exclusive, and that adds a huge amount of exclusivity, and it's going to make me really want some of the other ones, right? You'll create this whole collector's market around like which version of the artwork you like most, right? Like, I don't know. I just think it's a very easy thing to do if you insist on keeping the same card rather than like multiple different prize cards. But yeah, pricing, very, very good. Most of these cards are not bad. Obviously, roughest with set 4, but got way better with set 5 and way better with set 6. Set 6, I'm struggling to find a bad card in the prize offering. I guess maybe the Grievous, arguably, even then. And then we look at the regionals, and once again, same thing, just absolute slam dunks. Treya and Leia, arguably on the weaker end. I think Treya is a card that has insane long-term potential. Leia is maybe a bit of a miss, but then you look at the other prizing here, and it's just you get the Sith Triumvirate, you get so much cool stuff here. Just great job. I'm a big fan of the prize card borders. I'm a fan of the texture. I got 3 of the rays as as you'll know. But yeah, great job. Honestly, this is a very, very solid thing to be seeing. So overall, prizing has gotten better and better in each set when it shows up, and this is kind of the elephant in the room. It is unbelievably embarrassing that happened once. The fact it's happened multiple times is the fact it happened a second time should have put you on the biggest high alert in the universe to never ever let that happen again. In my view, you should have been sending someone from FFG in a plane, put them in business class, give them all the luggage they need, with the physical prize cards with them to make sure they made it to the tournaments. We can live without some things being there on the day if they're delayed, if there's production issues, whatever, right? Like an initiative token, who cares? But the actual prize cards, particularly stuff like a prize wall, playmats, things that people are literally going there to win, you cannot mess that up. And the fact it's happened 3 times is unbelievable, right? It cannot happen again. It just can't. But dialing it back a little bit, Texas regionals are in full swing. We have a set kind of timeline with how they happen now, with 3 sectors and a regionals with every single set. And from my experience, these have been run really well. The stock issues are very embarrassing, but outside of that, the organization has been very, very good. But what I don't understand is why on earth these are always so close to each other. My opinion as an outsider looking in, because I don't plan these events, is they just don't seem to be planned well in terms of dates. They are, and this I'll sort of come on to this a bit more when I get onto communication, but they are announced very, very close to the actual event. There's nowhere near enough actual notice, and inexplicably they are always bunched together. They just love slamming as many of them as they can into the tightest possible period. I just don't understand why. I'll have some suggestions in a moment, but I really just don't get it. Prizing obviously must never not arrive again. We need to have more different prizes. I just think it would be a really good thing. Points are also a little bit weird in terms of how they're awarded. I think they can be a bit more generous with the points, honestly. And I just want more of them. I just want more sectors and more regionals. And again, when that's the issue we're having, that's a pretty good issue to have. Now, a suggestion I had when it comes to organized play is something I think would be way more exciting is if the limited events, there was a limited event that took place on actual release weekend. So, or maybe even better, pre-release weekend. Now, I understand logistically doing it on pre-release weekend might actually be really, really hard. But if it's possible, the idea that the first time a lot of cards are going to surface and be seen by people is at a regional championship is incredibly exciting. I am telling you, the viewership, the excitement, especially if you can get it a day early, right? You play on the Friday and pre-release isn't actually till Saturday. I'm telling you, it's a slam dunk. If you do the regionals for every set, right? At the end of the format. So regionals for set 5, for example, happens at the very end of set 5, but the limited event is the first event of set 6. I think that is so exciting. Yeah, it's a bit weird, but also it's a really cool way to mix things up. And it'll have loads of people. It'll have people watching to see the new cards in action, but also watching to see the old cards. And I think one of the issues you have is when you get far into a format, people are kind of over it and they just want to see the new stuff. And this way you kind of get to do both. And then I think you should just have the next limited one within 3 or 4 weeks after that. Because yeah, I think that I understand. But then also just spread them out. Just do one a month. There's 4 events per set and a set is out for 4 months. Just spread them out. We don't need to do them like all bunched up together. There's no season. There's nothing like I don't know. I just think that would be better. But I'm a very strong proponent for this for my idea of having the first limited event be of the new set be at the regionals. Anyway, right. Overall grade C+. Definitely points of improvement, and I will be very clear. This is a harsh grade. I'm absolutely being overly harsh here, but I really just want to say like this matters. I think like people will start quitting the game if like genuinely if you have another thing where prizing doesn't show up, like people will actually just start quitting the game. I think if you do not make the prizing worth something, you're going to start losing competitive players. And competitive players aren't the be all and end all, but like they are amazing marketing, and they are a very key part of the community of the game. And so when all it takes to keep them extremely happy is some very minor changes that honestly aren't going to cost very much, I think you should probably do that. And also like stop messing up, please. Thank you. Okay, Galactics. This is not even close to all of the prizing. Here's some of it. This was an amazing time, but there was a lot of teething issues. Everyone was lovely. It was really heartwarming to see how much everyone who works on Swoop actually cares about the game. It was like super cool. And the prizing was amazing and will likely only get better. I liked the venue, but it's very frustrating that as a European, I'm going to have to go all the way over to the west coast of the States. The game is literally bigger in Europe as far as I'm aware. So I understand like not doing it in Europe in the first year or two, but like the fact it's on the west coast is just the least convenient possible location for us. And it's also annoying for the east coasters. So I don't know, I'd like it in the east coast preferably, but whatever. The production value on the stream was great, although bit of an issue with the play area, but I mean, you know, overall the venue was incredible. The setup was amazing. The prize wall and the side events were a total catastrophe. But this is all like admin problems. Not to downplay it and brush past it, but like I think this has been sort of done to death. The feedback was very obvious at the time. There was also a lot of feedback about prize wall tickets and all sorts of things beforehand. My understanding is there was basically just miscommunication at various stages, and therefore that's why some issues happened. But yeah, they just fix the admin problems, implement a system where you know, you don't have ridiculous queues. It's very easy to sign things up. Like, just make it an experience that it's easy. It shouldn't be something I have to think about. I should just be able to go sign up for a side event and just play. It shouldn't be that complicated. I should be able to just go to the prize wall and just like get something, and there should be some QR code that you can scan that holds my ticket balance or whatever, and that's it, right? Like, physical tickets is insane. I guarantee you tickets were stolen. Like, there's no way they weren't. There's a 100% chance some guy walked over, grabbed a stack. They were literally like sitting on tables, right? Like judges with stacks of tickets worth, you know, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of prize cards, right? Like, I think it's very unlikely someone didn't just grab a stack and go up and redeem like 20 showcases. Yeah. But fix those things, which are the easiest thing in the world to fix, because you literally just throw some money at the problem and it goes away. And just do more cool, unusual, exclusive items, right? Like, that'd be cool, right? Give me some more acrylic bases. Give me some acrylic leaders or metal leaders, or just, you know, new, cool, interesting things. Just do cool stuff. But like, I know Galactics is the premier event, and I know they're going to throw everything at it. So I have full faith that it's going to be great next year. I, again, have had to give it a very, very harsh grade because of how bad the side events and the prize wall situation were last year. But again, this is a harsh grade. I don't think it was actually this bad, but again, I really just want to encourage that improvement, because my hope is when I do this next year, this is like a 90%, like a 100%. I'm just like, oh my god, they absolutely smashed it. Okay, now I want to talk about judges very briefly. The judge program is largely well run, but there are just some really weird things. Judges are, okay, you can't acknowledge this. I understand you can't acknowledge this. But basically, judges are paid by selling them judge merchandise, and then that judge merchandise resells for a shitload, right? Like, that's what it is. I get we can't acknowledge it. That's fine. But I don't understand why that is the only way they receive it. If I go and I judge a PQ, or if I'm regularly judging the locals and my store reports that, you should be sent stuff anyway. I'm not a judge, by the way. This is not something that benefits me. I just think it's kind of ridiculous that, like, these are people who are essential for a community to function, right? Like, you need judges. These are usually community leaders, right? These are people who will, like, literally organize the locals. They will get a locals together on a grassroots level. Like, they care about the community. They care about the game running well. They are going to an event literally to work and answer a lot of dumb questions and basically be customer service and put up with a lot of really angry people, right? They're doing a slightly harrowing job with a smile on their face. I think the least that FFG can do is give them a couple of damn promo cards. Also, what the hell happened with sectors and regionals? This is something that I don't think has gotten anywhere near enough airtime. So with the set 4 sectors and regionals, all the judges got 3 judge copies of the participation and the day 2 promo, right? Now, was that probably a little bit excessive? Yes, it did slightly destroy the value of the finalist promo. This was massively overcorrected. Judges of sectors and regionals in set 5 got 1 copy of just the participation promo. That was insane. The correct thing to do is dial it back to 3 copies of the participation and 1 copy of the finalist, right? Like, that is unbelievable to me that like they dialed it back that far. I understand you want to preserve the collectability, which I think we all know what I mean when I say collectability, but collectability of the card. But this is ridiculous. The judges were not happy, and frankly, the fact they didn't kick up more of a stink is a miracle, in my opinion. This was a huge miss. Fix it. And yeah, FFG, you also need to provide some assistance to stores in recruiting judges for PQs. Now, if this is literally just ship the store like 4 cases of product or something and go, okay, 2 of these cases are for prizing, 2 of these cases are to like basically gift to judges as an incentive, I guarantee you're going to start getting a lot more judges showing up because there have been PQs that have literally been unable to find judges because the day rate is low. These stores are not making much money off of these tournaments, so I understand why the day rate is low. But like, you know, if judges are having to pay for their travel, any accommodation, it starts becoming a thing where it's like they can't justify it. So things like this that are very cheap for the company to do, but actually mean quite a lot to the judge, I think are slam dunks, just improvements. I mean, this is a 40% D-. This was a literal, like, fix it, please, FFG. Treat judges better. They deserve way better than this. So overall, an organised play, I'm giving this a 50% to C. This is a little bit of a harsh grade, but like we said, you know, there's a lot. There is a lot that can be improved. And FFG knows. I think this is the nice thing. FFG definitely knows about all of these things. Right, we're coming up to an hour, so I'm really going to try and go fast now. Communication, FFG have done largely okay. So updates are regular, they're provided consistently, and the essential information is largely well communicated. But there are some things that are just baffling. Like, why was the sector and regional prizing revealed on a Twin Sun stream? What, like, or the dates, or whatever it was. Like, why is the communication so last minute? It is improving. And so I'm looking forward to seeing where we go next year. But like, this is an area where like there are obvious ways that things can be done better. So again, C+, you can do better. Content creators. So this is basically my relationship with FFG. I think they've done a pretty good job. As a content creator, I'm really happy with the benefits I get. I get to reveal cards. I get like exclusive accessories when I go to an event. I got to go to an influencer event thing, which was insane. I got to meet the actor for General Draven, who I have behind me here, Alistair Petrie. Really nice guy. That was insane, right? Like, I feel very valued, which is amazing. It's a very warm, fuzzy feeling. That being said, and also want to say, it's very exciting and rewarding working with FFG, but because of that sort of communication issue, it's kind of hard to like know what's coming up or like what to plan around. And there's a lot of time I'd like to make content with a certain date in mind. If I know something is coming, I can kind of prepare for it. But oftentimes, like, it's just announced too last minute and I'm not able to do it. I'm now going to complain. The UK receives preview product a month after the set releases. This is ridiculous. Like, sort this out. I don't know what stage in the chain like this gets lost, but like my American content creator friends are getting their product a week or two in advance of the set releasing, which is probably when they should be getting it because, hey, that's when you need to make your video and like it takes a little while. You know, we're all adults, we all have careers, like it takes a little while sometimes to sit time and do the video and schedule it and do everything. But like I got my box of set 6 a month after the set came out, and not pre-release, like the actual release date. Like I got it in like December. At that point, what am I going to do with it, right? Like, you know, what's the point? So please fix that, FFG. I'm really excited to work with FFG, but like these are just like really easy fixes. And like I know I'm not the only person in the UK who is not best pleased about this. There's also issues with embargo dates because, well, we'll be told a certain thing like, oh, you cannot release like your videos until X time. But as far as I'm aware, the US content creators don't get that because they'll just throw their videos up like a week in advance when we have been told not to. So, I don't know, not to air dirty laundry or anything, but like these are just communication issues that just need to get fixed, basically. Like, give us all the same level playing field, because sometimes it's just a bummer. Like, you'll get really excited about like a video and like it's ready to go, and then suddenly the video is no longer exciting because someone else like put it out before, and you literally are not allowed to put yours out. Like, it's a bit of a bummer. Anyway, overall 70%. I'm mostly happy, but and you know, obviously I'm very grateful for the position I'm in. I don't want this to come across as like entitled. I just think like there are two really easy fixes, which are literally give us all the same embargo date and make sure we all get our product at about the same time, and that's literally it. Like, I think I don't know. I think it's fair. But yeah. So overall, B. We can improve. There are improvements, but definitely doing like pretty well. This is passing. I'd be fine. Okay. So now, what is my shortlist for improvements? This is just like essential takeaways, FFG. If you were not listening for the last hour, here's what you need to know. Make better leaders. Push the envelope. Please, dear God, I am sick and tired of leaders that I look at and go, well, this is not going to see Premier play. Please print better legendaries. It's okay to break things. It's okay to ban cards. My God, I'm sick and tired of legendary number 16 in this set. And I go, well, that's another one that's a bit of a dud. Stop making Glupshitters the best things in the set when there are no iconic characters that are also good. By all means, make some really busted Glupshitters, right? I would absolutely love if in set 7, like, I don't know, Ben Quadinaros is like a broken legendary. That would be phenomenal. I would absolutely love that. But only if there's also a broken legendary for like Lando and a broken legendary for, I don't know, I'm blanking on who else in the set. Whoever, right? Like another broken Luke. I don't know. I don't care. Like just make sure the iconic characters are taken care of before you move on to the Glupshitters. Please bring back old mechanics. Please. Stop trolling. That being said, I am waiting to see how rotation pans out. A lot of this is like how I feel right now, but I might feel very differently in 3 months, so we'll see. But not all of this. I mean, like, generally, come on. Like, anyway. Physical products, we need more reasons to open packs. The Carbon overhaul is happening, so that's great. I want to see more new and exciting products. And we're kind of seeing that, right? We're getting the Twin Sun Star Stakes, which I'm really excited for. We're getting Icons, this new set, so a lot to look forward to. But also, please make convention exclusives people actually want. Like, the droid one was a real miss in terms of like. Also, the cards didn't even see play. So like, I bought 3 of them and like I just had nothing to play them in. Okay, cool. I guess they'll sit sealed in my shelf. Okay, organized play. Please stop making mistakes. I think it's gotten to the point where it's like the game is being damaged every single time it happens, and I'm not convinced the game will long term survive many more of these mistakes. But that being said, please keep pushing to make big tournaments more appealing. They are selling out, but the pricing is worthless, you know, not collectible, considering its rarity, and it's a really easy fix. You know, it's not just about printing cards that are worth a lot of money, right? Like, it's about, like, it's literally just about making people feel like they've earned something really unique and special. Just copy what Bandai do. It's not that hard. Have a unique winner promo. Have a unique promo for top 4. Have a unique promo for top 8. Serialize stuff. Like, literally just serialize it. It is not hard to stamp a different serial number in-house. I know FFG has the capability to produce their own cards. It will take someone like half a day to like make a full, you know, only serialized top 8, and there's like, what, 3 sectors a set. Okay, so you have to make 32 serialized cards, including the regionals. I reckon that's doable. More smaller PQs, please. I really want to see expanded format main events, major events, I should say. I really hope they happen. Just better comms, like more in advance, and better spacing of the tournaments. And a word on streaming, which I want to talk about. Obviously, I'm in a unique position as someone who casts the game. And I feel very, very lucky to do that in Europe, because the production put on by OPE and Fanfinity is chef's kiss. So good. I'm very well taken care of. You know, they they give me as much notice as they can. They like handle like, you know, all the stuff you would expect. And on like the actual days, you know, we get to like cast these games in really exciting, well-produced situations, right? Like the production is fantastic. I literally don't have a bad word to say about them. Whereas you look in the US and I just don't see the same funding there. And I'm sure this isn't an issue of, like, I doubt this is an issue where FFG just are not spending money on it. So I'm not really sure what's going on, but I would really like to see some sort of like parity where the US is brought up to the level that Europe is currently operating on, because like I want to enjoy like the private content creators that are like going to events and just basically streaming out of their backpacks, like they are doing God's work. I'm very appreciative of the fact they go and do this, but frankly, you compare the stream quality to what you get in a Fanfinity or an OBE stream, and it's not the same. And of course it's not the same, because it's like one guy on his laptop, like with a tripod, right? Like, of course, it can't possibly be the same. So I just want to see the US like brought up to parity. Get those people involved, like reward them. I really hope you do. Like, I want to see the people like Sea Raptor, for example, and I'm blanking on other names, who like go to these events and literally produce the streams. I would love to see them brought in and like helping in some capacity, or like being able to cast or do something. I don't know. Like they're doing really, really cool stuff. So anyway. Just wanted to say I'd love to see US streaming kind of brought up to the level that we get to enjoy on the other side of the pond. So, final thoughts. Oh my god, we've made it. 2025 has been a great year for Star Wars Unlimited. It really has. There have been some incredible highs, but there have been a lot of mistakes along the way. They are all easy fixes. I think this is the big thing I want to hammer home. Like, as negative as a lot of aspects of this video will have been, literally everything I've said is like the easiest fix in the world. Like, it's a matter of do a very small change, spend a little bit of money, or just chuck money at the problem, but where you're making money in the situation anyway, so it doesn't matter. Like, these are all the most easily solvable issues. I believe that I'm pretty sure I've met Head of OP, but if I haven't, and you are watching this, please, easiest fixes in the world. I believe in you. Whoever handles the card design and stuff like that and the rarities, easiest fixes in the world. They've already announced that there are changes made. I think set 8 is when they said we're going to start seeing legendaries really getting pushed. Hopefully that's fine. But yeah, it's clear that the people who make this game really give a shit, and that is very, very nice to see. The community is wonderful. The amount of effort they put into the game, the amount of like interaction with the community across social platforms, when they come to events. I didn't even mention those things, but like there's so much amazing stuff I can say about the people behind the game, and the amount of time and effort they put into making all of us who play feel like valued. So I just like, from the bottom of my heart, just a heartfelt thank you to the people who make this game. You guys do a great job. And I am very, very lucky to be able to like know a lot of you personally, and like do all this fun casting stuff and play the game, and I don't know, I feel very lucky because I love this game. It's great. Basically, yeah, I love the game. 2026 is going to be an amazing year. Get rid of those mistakes. Give us some more time to communication. Give us more good cards at higher rarities and better leaders. Make some small tweaks to event pricing to just make it a little bit more desirable, and just do a few more events across the board. And SWU is only on the upward trajectory. And when I put it out, like when I lay it out like that, that seems really very straightforward, doesn't it? Overall grade, 64%. You're sitting at a B. I expect better. All right, that's it. Man, bit of a marathon. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. I'm sure I've forgotten loads of stuff, but I think more than an hour and 10 minutes is probably excessive. So I will see you guys in the new year. Cheers.